Don't do that.
All right, you guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. Start off by saying Shabbat Shalom. All praise to the Most High, Ahayim. Tonight's lesson will be called go ahead, come and get a seat. Got some chairs over there.
Oh, no.
So tonight's lesson will be called Signs of Lying Wonders. So we're going to go into some information on signs in the end times of lying wonders. You're going to hear lies everywhere from everyone in the end times. It's going to be hard to trust anybody. So this is what tonight's lesson will be called, Signs and Lying Wonders. All right. But first, before we go into that information, we're also going to talk about, we're going to touch on one thing before we go into the signs and lying wonders. With all the evil and destruction that's hitting this earth, there's a lot of different elements that are attacking the Most High's children. And we're going to talk about some of those elements tonight through the lying wonders. All right, but one of the main weapons that Satan uses against his people is what? Anybody know?
The law.
Huh?
Family and friends.
Family and friends, that's close. The household, that's close. Remember, there's nothing new under the sun. So how did Satan bring evil into the world in the beginning?
Through Eve.
Women.
Through who?
Through Eve.
Through Eve.
Deception.
So, well, tonight's lesson is called Lies and Wonder through the deception of their lies to the government. But in the end times, in these evil days that we are living, the Most High's chosen people have woken up. And they are doing everything they can to follow the ways of the Most High as much as possible. Okay? But then Satan comes and said, nah, I got to throw a monkey wrench in there. I got to throw a nail in the middle of the street to get you a flat tire. He has to slow you down because he see you on that journey. He see you on that journey to where you're now on the right path. You're on your way out of his world. They said, nah, I need to slow you down a little bit and throw some more deception at you while you fixing that flat. You might see another deception, and it might just turn you back around. So let's go to Luke 13 and 11. So we're going to talk about the monkey wrench that gets thrown into the mix. And now that America is right on schedule, America is right on schedule to bring destruction upon Jacob. which will be Jacob's trouble. If Jacob think they already gone through some things, they ain't seen nothing yet. America has a major plan. And through that plan, they know Jacob is waking up. So Satan has put a spirit in this world that is so tough. And this only grew over time. See, this is something that didn't just happen overnight. Satan has come to America and put a spirit so tough in this world to where it's been brewing over time. All right. We are now in a generation to where the woman has more power than the man. The man is nothing in a lot of households. The man is nothing in a lot of job places. In a lot of places where you have corporate, a lot of women runs the show now. And guess what? Hillary Clinton going to win or Donald Trump is going to win. I don't know who's worse. Donald Trump is a clown. And he just don't care what he says. Now, is Hillary Clinton a clown? I wouldn't call her such a clown, but she's a woman. All right, read Luke 13:11. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Luke, chapter 13, verse 11, and it reads, "And behold, there was a woman which had a spirit of infirmity 18 years, and was bowed together, and could in no wise lift up herself."
So it's telling you a woman who had the spirit of devils. 18 years she had the spirit of devils. She so bad she could not even lift herself up. Satan had trodden her down so bad to where it had made her sick. All right, it wasn't much she can do. Let's go to Luke 8:2. Let's go to Luke 8:2. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Luke, chapter 8, verse 2, and it reads, "And certain women which had been healed of evil spirits and infirmities, Mary called Magdalene, out of whom went 7 devils."
So it's telling you through these precepts that the spirit of Satan will attack the woman first. There's nothing new under the sun. Now, I'm not saying that Satan will not go to the man. But when you have a household who's trying to do right, Satan is going to come to the woman. And he's going to come in so many different forms. He's going to mask himself as an angel of light. And he's going to come in so many different forms to where no one is even realizing what's going on. And it's telling you certain women was healed of evil spirits. And when they were healed of evil spirits, it tells you when they were healed, 7 devils. Remember, we already went over the 7 spirits a week ago. 7 devils went out of the woman. So it's not just one spirit that comes upon the woman. Many different spirits will come upon the woman to make her go outside of the spirit of the Most High, to bring in evil, to bring in strife. What's the spirit? Haughtiness. What's the spirit? Ignorance. Like they don't, passive aggression of ignorance. Like they don't realize that they're being ignorant. What's the spirit? Combative attitude. They don't care. They want to combat it with the husband of the house. Tyson and Buster Douglas. We're going to go round for round. What's the spirit? Pride. Pride to where they don't want to accept reproof. What's the spirit? Not accept their reproof. Try to give them reproof. They got so much pride they don't want to hear it. They ain't do nothing wrong. So now that they don't want to accept the reproof and they can't see what they've done wrong, it just becomes a cycle. What's the spirit? Let me tee you off, and then a couple hours later, oh, nothing happened. Let's cuddle. Let's sweep it under the rug as if nothing happened. You're still mad. So now it gets swept under the rug, and then guess what happens a week later? Same thing. So these are the issues that are handicapping households. Now, like I said in the beginning, it's the spirit goes to the man also. Satan will go to the man and bring him down to where he's out of bounds too. But if you have a righteous man who's trying to do right, a lot of times when he's out of bounds, it's because of what's going on in the house. I'll tell you right now, it's what's going on. He already came in, laid the law, said this is what we're gonna do, this is how we're gonna do it. And then he might come off work and be like, I thought I asked for that not to be going on. And it's going on now, it roused him up a little bit. Because then he tries to correct it, and then the woman's like, well, whatever. Now he's coming out of spirit. There's no excuse. He needs to learn how to stay within the body of the Messiah himself. He has to be humble and realize that the woman is the weaker vessel. But the woman, you can't take advantage of his humble spirit, his contrite spirit, seeing that he's being humble, and then you keep doing it, Sal. He's a lion. He will turn around and growl and roar and bite you if you keep doing that. Job 2:7. So if we are going to ever come together and get out of Babylon and fight this spirit of Satan that's here, that's trying to keep us behind due to Jacob's trouble, we have to get rid of all strife. And it starts in the household. That's why I'm starting off like this. It starts in the household. The man and the woman of the house have to be on the same page. We will never be able to get out of Babylon and fight the real demon spirits when we're fighting spirits amongst ourselves. You can't. How can you say, hey, I'm gonna get ready for the Olympics to go boxing, I'm gonna train for the Olympics, but then once a week while you're training, you're having a real fight out there on the streets, getting nicked up and banged up to where you can't even get healthy enough to make it to the Olympics. And then by the time you get to the Olympics, you're like, man, my shoulder hurt, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to win. Same thing what's happening right now. The real battle is getting ready to happen spiritually. They're coming. But if you're getting wounded weekly with the fleshly battles that is happening in your house, you're not going to be able to withstand the wiles of the devil. That's why Ephesians 6 speaks it clearly. And we got to get away from all that wrestling against flesh and blood. All that and like I say, I go over this because it's ignorance. You're like, what, for real? I'm seeing this ignorance. It's a pattern of ignorance. You get tired of it. You get to the point to where you just want to walk away from it and never deal with it ever again. Job 2:7. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Job, chapter 2, verse 7, and it reads, So went Satan forth from the presence of the Most High, and smote Job with sore boils from the sole of his foot unto his crown.
So it tells you that, you remember Satan. Let's go to Job 1 and 7. Read Job 1 and 7 real fast. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Job, chapter 1, verse 7, and it reads, And the Most High said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Most High and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. Verse 8. And the Most High said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job?
So the Most High is Satan, where you coming from, Satan? He says, from going to and fro in the earth from heaven, walking up and down in it. Because Satan used to want to go back and forth and tell on the righteous individuals that was living here, the Most High's creatures. So the Most High said unto Satan, Hast thou considered thy servant Job? Read it.
That there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth the Most High and escheweth evil.
So he says, Job, there is no one like him on the earth. He's a perfect and upright man, one who feareth his Most High and escheweth evil. All right? But Satan finally came after Job. And it says, and he smote Job with sores and boils, all right, from the sole of his foot to his crown. All right, let's go to Proverbs 12 and 2. So he finally came after Job and attacked him from the foot to his crown. But he really couldn't spiritually get at Job. He can try to do all he wants to harm Job, but spiritually, Satan couldn't get at Job. Why? Because Job was hedged up. And not only was he hedged up, he had his house in order. So now that Job's house was in order, it kept the hedge over them and kept Satan out. How do you keep your house in order? Read Proverbs 12 and 2. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Proverbs, chapter 12, verse 2, and it reads, A good man obtaineth favor of the Most High, but a man of wicked devices will he condemn.
So it says a good man, he will obtain favor of the Most High. So if a man is doing right, he's making the sacrifices, he's showing his due diligence to the Most High is going to show him favor. There will be no struggle. But a man with wicked devices, he will condemn. Verse 3.
Verse 3. A man shall not be established by wickedness.
Read it again.
A man shall not be established by wickedness.
That means a man should not have wickedness nowhere around him. He shouldn't have wickedness in him, and there should be no wickedness established around him. That means a household. In order for this good man to continue to obtain favor from the Most High, there can't be no wickedness around this guy. Go ahead.
But the root of the righteous shall not be moved. Verse 4.
So regardless if wickedness comes around him or not, he's going to keep the root of the righteousness that he has earned through the words of the Messiah. Nothing will be able to move him from his spirit. Wicked will come, Satan will come in so many ways, and he's going to keep that humbleness and stay in the spirit. Nothing's going to move this righteous man out of that. Because Satan's going to come in so many forms to try to get him out of his righteous spirit. Verse 4.
Verse 4. We're in the book of Proverbs, chapter 12, verse 4. And it reads, a virtuous woman is a crown to her husband, but she that maketh ashamed is as rottenness in his bone.
So a virtuous woman is the crown to her husband. So a righteous woman, which is virtuous, she's the crown of her husband. All right, she's the one that keeps him solid. He's a righteous man. He's doing whatever he has to do to save his soul. And a virtuous woman helps keep him grounded. Not bending him out of shape, not arguing with him, not acting ignorant, not forgetting things that he told her. She's virtuous. So she's the first person to hear what comes out of his mouth, out of anybody. There's going to be many people that's going to hear what comes out of this righteous man's mouth. And she should be the first one to hear, and not only hear, but obey and follow. Because guess what? If you don't want to hear what the righteous man has to say, and if you don't want to obey what the righteous man has to say, somebody else will. And now you can't get mad. You can't get mad because somebody else is hearkening to the words that are coming out of his mouth. You didn't want to be instructed. So since you didn't want to be instructed, there's going to be many other people that will. See, what people don't understand is there is a bright light shined on ignorance. Why? What does the word darkness mean in Hebrew? Ignorance. The word darkness in Hebrew means ignorance. So the Most High shines a bright light on darkness, which is ignorance. So you can't be trying to bring this ignorant spirit and think it's going to fly. The Most High is going to shine the spirit on that every single time and say, get that out of here, Satan. Proverbs 5 and 12. So it says, a virtuous woman is the crown to her husband, but she that maketh ashamed is rottenness in his bone. So a woman who don't want to listen to a man, and a woman who don't want to follow a man, all she do is kind of come back him and go against what he's trying to do. She's always challenging his word. It rottens him out after a while. How? Because he's turned the leaf over to become a righteous man. He's doing whatever he can to follow the Most High. He's on the right track. And now he's dealing with this wicked woman who's bringing so many difficult ways in his life to where now he starts falling back. Starts rotting in his spirit a little bit. His spirit was becoming pure. It was ripened, becoming a nice big piece of fruit that's about to come. And then here she come, watering it with evil every day. It kills the piece of fruit to where now it's rotten. And then be looking like, why we don't got nothing to eat, why we ain't learning around here. Well, because you done killed that spirit of that righteous man. He's done. You have rotten him out with all your evil tactics. And listen, women, I'm not getting on y'all. I'm not. I really am. I'm not. Gotta understand the spirit said it is time. I see so much in our households that bother me. Even in mine. See, I'm like, what the heck is going on? Crazy? For real. Like, we don't got time for it. So many different ways they try to come with the passive aggressive ignorance. Proverbs 5:12. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Proverbs, chapter 5, verse 12, and it reads, and say, how have I hated instruction, and my heart despised reproof.
This is what we got. This is what we got. The women hate instruction. They hate to be corrected. And they hate reproof. Why? Because they got that passive aggressiveness on being in control. Oh, I'm not in control. But really though, yeah, you are. You're trying your hardest to be in control. You don't want to follow. How have I hated instruction, and my heart despises reproof. So that's why when you try to reproof them on something, they get tired of it. Oh, here we go again, reproofing me again. Seems like all you do is reproof me. Well, that's what I'm supposed to do. Because you live in a satanic world, which has nothing but Babylon ways. So my job is to reproof you day in and day out. That's why, listen, I'm going to tell you right now. It's almost at a point to where there should be no more social media. No more Facebook. No more chat snap or Snapchat, snap, whatever y'all call that stuff. Instagram, Twitter, that stuff needs to go. This is one of the things that's got our women hottie. I was telling this brother the other day, and I'm gonna say it out loud. I'm so upset right now with Israel. Why? Because now all of a sudden you have all these women on Facebook that's Israel that calls themselves Hebrews. Can you show me this, brother? Can you show me anywhere in the scriptures?
I haven't found it.
You haven't found it yet, neither? They got a big old group now on Facebook called, they call themselves Hebrews. And they do lessons themselves on Wednesday nights. Who told them to do that? What is going on? And then you got these Hebrews on Facebook all day long posting scriptures and getting at people, and who told them to do that? It's gotten out of control. It's gotten to a point to where you like, what spirit is that? But it's the social media movement. If you didn't have a social media, now these women would be able to bounce off each other with the spirit. And if you ask them, they think they're moving in the right way. They think that's the right spirit. We doing right. You can't tell them nothing. But who told them to do that? You sit at home and wait on your man to teach you, and then if he give you some precepts at night, and you go on Facebook and say, hey, I learned this last night through my hedge, and you put a precept on there, different story. But don't you be on there hitting people with precepts, talking about, hey, I've been telling y'all this. Like, what are you doing? Teaching on a passive-aggressive level is what they're doing. Hebrews.
Watch out now.
And there ain't no telling what the heck is going on when all of them are on the line.
Watch out now.
What's really being said? You're talking about some haughtiness. So but I bring it up because no one's told them. Why? Because they don't want to hear it. They hate instruction. If someone tried to tell them right now, your sister shouldn't be doing. Actually, you said someone kind of mentioned that about a month ago and dude got his head ripped off, huh?
Chopped his little old face off.
If someone try to tell these sisters, hey, y'all can't be doing that. If anything, y'all gonna be coming together as a group, do it with the brothers and everybody. Y'all can't be having y'all own little organization going on called Shebrews, because there's nowhere in the scriptures that says to call you a Shebrew. Are you Shebrews gathering on Wednesdays talking about how y'all gonna sew some mitris up and some fringes? So it's getting a little out of control. But like I say, I truly believe the Facebook and that Snapchat thing and all that stuff, all those things, they need to go. And if you got it in your household, it's probably what's causing somewhat ruckus. Verse 13.
We're in the book of Proverbs, chapter 5, verse 13. And it reads, and have not obeyed the voice of my teachers, nor inclined my ear to them that instructed me.
So they don't want to hear and obey the voice of the teacher that's trying to teach them. They have not inclined their ear to them that have instructed them. And that's all the husband tries to do. Like I said the other night, it might be tough love. When the husband comes to the wife to teach her, it might be tough love. The instruction ain't gonna always be like, hey, all right, come here, babe. Let me say, hey, with a smile. No, the instruction's gonna be pretty rough around the edges sometimes. It's gonna cut, it's gonna hurt. And you gotta be able to accept it. And if you're a woman that cannot accept the instruction and the reproof that's coming from your man, you are her that I'm talking about right now. And don't get bent out of shape because I just called you out. If anything, ask the Spirit to come sit with you so you can change it. Because we are in that day. And I've been saying it forever. All right, what's going to happen in a week? Or what's going to happen in a day? Or what's going to happen in the next hour if your husband comes to you and say, hey, it's time to go. He come home in the middle of the day and say, hey, it's time to go. What you going to do? Where we going? What for? What? For what? What's happening? By the time he answers your 10 questions, y'all already got it. The head has got to be so perfect to where if your husband comes in and say, right off the rip and just say, hey, we got to go. You be like, all right, let's go. You just going. You don't even ask questions. You're just ready to go. And then you ask questions once you're in the car. But if your spirit ain't ready to the point to where you got to know where you're going, you got to know why you're going, you got to know what's happening first before you can grab a bag, that's the wrong spirit. All right? And I talk like this, you guys, because we are at that moment in time to where all the extra is too much extra stuff going on in the households. That's holding us back. We should be gathering more and more as a people, but we got too much going on. All right? Let's go to 2 Thessalonians 2:9. So I just wanted to touch on that for a hot moment because it's been bothering me that I see such a dynamic spirit that has come over the women. And it's not y'all fault. Y'all live in Babylon. And this is what you see everywhere. Like I said, you see it everywhere. The women are starting to overpower everything. It's everywhere. So that spirit is in the air. And when you breathe it, you kind of get it. That's why you women, in this day and age, you got to be stronger than any other women in any other generation because that spirit of wickedness is out there real tough on our women right now. Especially when we're trying to hedge the house up, it's out there bad. Like I said, that's why it's even at the point to where you women don't even need to go to a work establishment because when you go to a work establishment, there's other haughtiness and wickedness around to where you learning the ways of them, and now you come home and you just think you can do it. TV shows, movies. You're watching these movies that are fairy tales, these TV shows that are ignorant, and you watching it, and then next thing you know, you're acting it out in your household. Oh, those shows don't pay me. Yeah, they do, because you're acting just like her. So I don't hear it. Got to get away from it. It's soon to where you don't need to be worried about nothing but food or clothing, and you get away from those establishments. Those establishments are rotting our women. They are rotting our men too, but they are rotting our households. Every time you got to go out and go to Babylon and be around these group of people who have nothing to do with the Most High, you're learning their ways. So listen, it's like this. Most High says, I'm the Father, you got to learn my way, but then you got to go to Satan's establishment and you're learning his ways and you're around his ways, so now you're in between. You got to give up one or the other. You got to say, hey, I'm done with this. I'm never going to be around that. Lock yourself in that closet. Lock yourself in that closet. Because when you lock yourself in that closet, you get away from all the other evil stuff. But the moment you come outside that closet, guess what? Satan's right there waiting. You have to sooner or later lock yourself in that closet and get away from it all. No matter who it is. Because if you don't, you're going to continue to get attacked. Go ahead.
We're in the book of 2 Thessalonians, chapter 2, verse 9, and it reads, even him whose coming is after the workings of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders. Verse 10, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved.
So the world we live in, they are not receiving the truth. And this is why 85 to 90% of this world will not be saved. They are not receiving the truth. It tells you that Satan is coming with all power and signs. And now that he has all power and signs, he's coming with lying wonders, deceiving people in so many ways. Revelation 16 and 14. That's Thessalonians 2 and 9, and we read 9 and 10.
Second Thessalonians.
Yeah, Second Thessalonians.
Is this the actual lesson? It's fine to mind.
Yeah. So Satan has all power, and now that he has all power, he's bringing in false signs and lying wonders. So now that we're in the last days, people won't know what to look for, because Satan is deceiving people in so many ways with all these false signs and lying to them about different things, telling people this is okay and this is all right to do. No, it's not. If you don't see it in the scriptures, it's not right to do. Revelation 16 and 14. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Revelations, chapter 16, verse 14, and it reads, for they are the spirits of devils, working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world, to gather them to the battle of the great day of a higher Almighty.
So it's a spiritual battle. I've been telling y'all for a while. It's a spiritual battle. So it tells you, for they are the spirits of devil. Who are the spirits of devils? The government, the kings of this earth who run the world. And not only are they the spirits of devil, but through the spirits of devil, they work miracles, working miracles, which go forth into the kings of the earth and through the whole world. So through the whole world, they're bringing these spirits of the devil. The spirits of the devil has taken over the whole world. And miracles are being done to where people don't even realize it's the devil. And they're bringing these miracles in and got people coming under these different spirits, and it's gathering them to the battle of the great day of the Almighty. So Satan is getting his army ready. Just because you can't see it with your eyes does not mean it's not happening. Satan is getting his army together. And he's getting it together with all these different spirits, working miracles, making you think the fun things in life and the things in life that they taught you need is what you really need. No, it's working to get you on Satan's side. So as long as you continue to participate in this world doing those things, staying a part of that, you're just on Satan's side. So when the spiritual battle happens, you're going to be on the wrong side. So in order to get on the right side of this spiritual battle, we know we have to find the Messiah. We know we have to let the Holy Spirit, which is Ruach, sit with us. Once we find them two, we know we're on the right side. But let's find out tonight who else is on our side in this spiritual battle. So we already know in the spiritual battle we got the Messiah, we got Ruach, and we got Ahia. But who else is on our side? Let's go to the book of Enoch. Let's go to the book of Enoch. And let's read, let's go to chapter 40. The book of Enoch. You need a book, brother? We go to the book of Enoch, chapter 40, verse 1. So now, like I say, now that we know we're in the spiritual battle, Satan has many spirits that's helping him out. All right, Satan has many spirits. You have to understand this. You have to play this out. Satan has many spirits that's working for him all throughout this world. So he has many people here. So it's only going to be a few of us on our side. So let's find out who it is. We got the Messiah. We got the Holy Spirit. We got Ahia. Those three we already know because we talk about it all the time. Who's going to be a part of the spiritual battle? But let's find out who else has our back. All right. You have to know who has your back in this battle in order for you to succeed. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Enoch, chapter 40, verse 1, and it reads, "And after this I saw 1,000 thousands and 10,000 times 10,000, a multitude beyond number or reckoning, who stood in front of the glory of the Most High of Spirits."
So it's talking about all the stars, all the angels. That's why it's so many thousands. All the stars that's in the sky and all the angels who stood in front of the glory of the Lord of the Spirits. That's what it says. Go ahead. Well, that's no matter. Go ahead. All right.
I looked,
because Lord just means master, so the master of the spirits. Go ahead.
Okay. I looked, and on the four sides of the Lords of Spirit, I saw four figures.
So out of all these thousands and thousands of angels, I saw four figures. Go ahead.
Different from those who were standing.
So different from all the other stars and angels, these four were different. Let's find out why they were different. Go ahead.
And I learned their names, because the angel who went with me made known their names, and because the angel and showed me all the secret things.
So Enoch says the angel that was with me showed me all the secret things about these four and gave me their names. Go ahead.
Verse 3.
Well, it's different from their book.
Oh, okay.
All right. Their book might be a couple of chapters in front.
A couple lines.
Yeah, a couple of lines. But so you just go ahead.
Okay.
So don't get thrown off. Y'all just continue to follow along. Go ahead.
And it reads, "And I heard the voices of those four figures, as they sang praises in front of the Lord of glory. The first voice blesses the Lord of spirits forever and ever. And the second voice I heard blessing the chosen one, and the chosen who depend on the Lord of spirits."
So it says the first voice of these four blesses the spirits forever and ever. The second voice, so when they speak, the second voice blesses the chosen one, which is the Messiah, and the chosen who depend, which is us. So these are the spirits. So this is who you're going to be battling with. First one blesses the spirits forever and ever. All right. The first one blesses all the Lord of the spirits. The second one blesses the chosen one and the chosen who depend to follow the lords of the spirits. Go ahead.
And the third voice I heard petitioned and prayed on behalf of those who dwell on dry ground and supplicate in the name of the Lord of spirits.
So the third one is the one that looks out for you. They pray for you. All right. They put in the petition for you. All right. When you get in trouble, they the one that comes. He the one that comes and say, "Hey, hold on. Let's work this out for this individual. Let me pray for him before you go ahead and hit him with that rod. Let me see if I can keep him out of trouble." So the third one is the one that's looking over you, praying for you, putting in a petition for you for those that are on dry ground. Go ahead.
And the fourth voice I heard driving away the Satans and not allowing them to come in front of the Lord of spirits to accuse those who dwell on the high ground.
So now the fourth voice is the one that drives away the spirits of Satan, the ones we were just speaking of. All right. They keep them away from the high ground and keep them away from the dry ground. Verse 8.
And it reads, and after this I asked the angel of peace, who went with me, and showed me everything which is secret. Who are those four figures whom I have seen, and whose words I have heard and written down?
So Enoch said, who are these angels that I've heard and seen, and I've written down all these words you said? Enoch is like a computer. He's writing it all down. Go ahead.
And he said to me, the first one is the holy Michael.
So Michael is your first voice. Michael is the one that's over all. He's the one that blesses all the spirits forever and ever. He's the top dog, Michael. Okay? Go ahead.
The merciful and long-suffering. And the second, who is in charge of all the diseases and in charge of all the wounds of the sons of men, is Raphael.
So Raphael is your second one, who's in charge of all the diseases, all the famines, and all the things that's going to hit this earth and come after us. He's the one that's going to help, all right, the chosen one. Remember, it says the second voice is the one that blesses the chosen one and the chosen who follows the spirits. So if you decide to follow these spirits, then Raphael is the one that's going to bless the chosen one when it comes to diseases, famine, different things to that nature, destruction. That's Raphael. Go ahead.
And the third, who is in charge of all the powers, is the holy Gabriel. And the fourth,
so Gabriel is in charge of all the powers. He is the one that goes to the moon. He has all the power over whatever. So when we're in battle, Gabriel is the one that's going to give us the power. He's going to give us the might in the fight to be able to make it through. That's who Gabriel is. All right? Go ahead.
And the fourth, who is in charge of repentance and hope of those who will inherit eternal life, is Phanuel.
All right, so Phanuel is the one who's in charge of repentance and hope, which is faith, who will inherit eternal life. So he's the angel that's when you die and you go to the right, he's going to be that guy that's going to be right there to help walk you to the right. Okay? He's the one that's going to show you the entrance to paradise. Okay? So now that we know, read the last verse.
And these are the four angels of the Most High power, and the four voices that I heard in those days.
So these are the guys that are going to be in battle with you. These are the ones that are walking right now with us. And they all have a different purpose. Along with the Messiah, he has his purpose. Along with Ruach, she has her purpose. And then these four have their purpose. Okay? And they all have their own story. And we will, over the next couple of months in our lessons, we'll break them down one by one. So you all can realize who they are through their story and break down more of what their purpose is. All right? So now that we know we're in the spiritual battle in this world when you have nothing but false signs, lying wonders, now you know who to turn to for certain events. Okay, you're getting sick, something ain't going right, you get disease, you get plagued out with something, you know to turn to who? Raphael. You say you can turn to Raphael and ask him. Because who takes your prayers to the Most High? These angels. When you have prayers, the angels are the ones who take them to the Most High. So now that you know who has your back, let's go to it. Let's read it. Let's go to Revelations 8:3. Revelations 8:3 real quick. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Revelations, chapter 8, verse 3. And it reads, And another angel came and stood at the altar, having a golden censer. And there was given unto him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all the saints upon the golden altar which was before the throne.
So the golden censer has all of our prayers in there. And it says, here comes another angel who has the golden censer, which has all the prayers of the saints. All right? And it says, and he took it before the throne of the Most High, verse 4.
Verse 4. And the smoke of the incense, which came with the prayers of the saints, ascended up before the Most High out of the angel's hands.
Mm-hmm.
And the angel took the censer and filled it with fire of the altar and cast it into the earth. And there were voices and thunderings and lightnings and an earthquake.
So when you hear the thunderings, the lightnings, and the earthquakes, that means our prayers have been answered. Those are the voices saying, hey, when the angels take our prayers up there in the golden censer to the throne, and you hear the voices of thundering, lightning, and earthquakes, those are voices and signs that the prayers have been heard. All right? So now that we know we are in the spiritual battle, who's the battle against? Who? Government? Government, who else? Anybody know? So we know the battle is against the government. Who else is it against? Anybody? Huh? Well, churches. Churches? The battle is against these churches, against the government. Who else? Schools? Well, but we got to section them off though.
Right.
Because when you go to schools, the schools are lying to our kids. You can't take a Bible. Any place that you can no longer teach the Bible is who the battle is against. Can you take your Bible to work? A lot of places won't even let you bring your Bible to work. It might offend somebody. It might offend somebody. You can't take your Bibles to schools no more. The government don't allow the Bible in their establishments. Churches, they've got fake Bibles now. You can't, New Testament only. They don't even want the truth. So they don't have the Bible no more. You might as well just say that. Holidays. The battle is against these holidays that you have to go through. What was the statistics we were talking about a couple of weeks ago? Christmas, there was more suicides in the month of December than any other month. And people don't even realize it. But it is. It is. Because people are so stressed out. They lose their mind. All right, so it's a spiritual battle and they know it. Okay? So through these things, you have to be taught to go against the Most High. That's what they're doing. Through these things that we just broke down, they teach you how to go against the Most High. Let's go to Mark 10 and 42. And all these things, the churches teach you how to go against the Most High. These schools teach you how to go against the Most High. The government teaches you how to go against the Most High. That's why I continue to talk and say, we got to get our kids out of the schools. We got to get our kids out of school, because the more and more they go to school, the more and more they're not going to want to learn about the Most High. One day, you're going to send your kids to school, and they're going to like something and be like, Mom, I don't like what you talking about no more. Dad, I don't like what you talking about no more. We got to get them out, just like work. We got to get away from these establishments who are not allowing us to be who we are. If you can't go in and talk about the Bible and teach, that's not a place for you. Mark 10:42. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Mark, chapter 10, verse 42, and it reads, But the Messiah called them to him, and said unto them, Ye know that they which are accounted to rule over the Gentiles exercise lordship over them, and their great ones exercise authority upon them.
So it says, ye know that they which are accounted to rule over the Gentiles exercise lordship over them, and their great ones exercise authority upon them. So through the government, we don't, do we rule over the Gentiles? Do we?
Nah.
We're supposed to be ruling over the Gentiles. But they teach, in the churches, they teach what? You and I are the Gentiles. So that's why when you read this scripture, you're like, oh, they're supposed to be ruling over us. We're the Gentiles. But we're not the Gentiles. They are the Gentiles, and we're supposed to be ruling over them. And the Gentiles have the laws. They've had the laws in their hands for years now, and look where the world is. See, if the true people got the laws in their hand to teach the laws, we might be in a better place. But the Gentiles are in charge, and they rule, and look what they have taught. And look where the world is. So it should go to tell you what they're teaching. They're teaching nothing that has anything to do with the Most High. The world is at an evil state right now because of them having the law in their hands. But if the true people got the law in their hands, we might just be in a better state. So they pass all these different laws and all these different things that's going on. And one of the main things they've done over the last year is pass this gay law, the same-sex marriage. I don't think people truly realize how huge that is. Because it's going to only get worse year after year. Same-sex bathrooms. You know, Caitlyn Jenner getting awards. You know, people are honoring Caitlyn Jenner, which was Bruce, who is now going through surgery, right, to become a full-blown woman. So this is,
I think it's done.
It's done? But this is what we have, though, you guys. This is the world that we live in, to where in the future you ain't gonna know who is what. You have to look a couple times and like look like a dude, but I don't know. And you can't ask because they're not gonna tell. Because America's don't ask, don't tell state. Nobody ain't gonna tell their secrets. That's the whole reason why I got this done to me. So you wouldn't know.
Trickeration.
The whole trickeration, because that's why they got the surgery, because years ago there was no surgery. Hey, if a man was a big girl, he would just be a drag queen.
Just put a wig on.
Just put a wig on and high heels, you just be a drag queen, and people can be like, dang, man, what's wrong with you? You knew it was a dude, but now they got the full-blown surgery to where you don't even know what's going on. So you best to be careful going out there dating people. Oh yeah, I'm going on a date. All right. Mm-hmm. You best to be careful. Go out there on a date and you will be dating another man and won't even know it. Or it's bigger than yours. You're like, why you always wearing sweaters? Every time we go on dates, you wearing sweaters. 105 degrees outside. You got on a sweater.
Gotta wait. That's
Wait, that's not, but for real though, I'm not trying to make a mockery out of it, but it is. It's so true, you guys. We are in a time of Sodom and Gomorrah all over again. And when you read the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, that's what was going on. Okay, through the spirit of the Nephilim blood, they brought in all these gay tendencies and different things like that. All right, Matthew 24:23. Go ahead.
We're in the book of St. Matthew, chapter 24, verse 23. And it reads, Then if any man shall say unto you, Lo, here is the Messiah, or there, believe it not.
So this is one of the other things that in the last days, with the lying wonders and the different signs that they're going to bring, it says, if any man come to you and says, hey, here's the Messiah, don't believe him. And that's what they're going to bring. For real, you guys, in our time, you're going to see it. They're going to be like, oh, the Messiah's here. And so many people are going to be wold through it, and it ain't going to be him at all. Verse 24.
Verse 24. For there shall arise false messiahs, and the false prophets.
So it's going to be more than one false sign of the Messiah. It's going to be many of them that they going to come and say, there you go again. Then months later, there you go. All right, and it's not going to be him. Go ahead.
And shall shew great signs and wonders.
So it's going to be great because it's going to look so. They're so good with technology. It's going to be great signs and wonders to where you really going to think it's him. What is it? The hologram?
Yeah.
They worked so tough over the last umpteen years to get the hologram effects so real now. And that's what they're going to do. It's going to be a hologram Messiah in the sky to where people are going to think it's him. That's why it says they got great signs and wonders. Go ahead.
Insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect.
It's going to deceive the very elect. Means it's going to deceive people that kind of know the truth, and they're going to be deceived for a second. People that kind of know what's going on, they're going to be like, is that? Because they signs and wonders through technology is so good now, you guys. Go ahead.
Verse 25. Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, Behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not.
Don't believe none of these things. When they say, oh, that's him walking in the desert, oh, that's him in the secret chambers, don't believe him. Go ahead.
Verse 27. For as the lightning cometh out of the east, and shineth even unto the west, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be.
So it says when the Messiah comes, there's going to be lightning coming with him when he comes. Okay? Go to Ezekiel 1:4. Let's break down a few precepts to show you how it's going to look when the Messiah comes. So when he comes, we won't be deceived. We'll kind of know. All right? So when he comes, there's going to be lightning coming from the east and shining even unto the west. So the lightning is going to be so big and so bright, you'll be able to see it in the Middle East, and you'll be able to see it here where we are in the west. All right? That's how bright that lightning is going to be. That's how strong it's going to be. Ezekiel 1 verse 4. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 1, verse 4, and it reads, And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire.
So it's telling you right here, the whirlwind, speaking of, because now we know the story of Ezekiel is talking about the 4 angels. And it says, and when they came out of a whirlwind, out of the north, out of a great cloud, and fire enfolding itself and brightness. So that's talking about the lightning. So when these angels came in this story right here, They came and lightning also brought them into the world, also brought them into vision. So that's the same thing that's going to happen when the Messiah comes. Lightning is going to bring him, just like they brought them. And he's going to come in the same type of format. All right, go to Isaiah 66 and 15. So in Ezekiel 1, it breaks down these angels coming, and it says they came like a whirlwind that came out of the north, a great cloud. So not only is it going to be lightning, but it explains that it's going to be a cloud, like a cloud that these angels came out of. So the same thing with the Messiah. It's going to be like a cloud that comes from the north, and it's going to have lightning. It's going to come like in the form of a whirlwind. A form of a whirlwind. So remember that. That's how these angels came, saying the Messiah come. Isaiah 66 and 15. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Isaiah, chapter 66, verse 15. And it reads, "For, behold, the Most High will come with fire."
So it's talking about, so when it says Lord right, it's talking about the Messiah. So behold, the Messiah will come with fire. Go ahead.
"And with his chariots like a whirlwind."
Same whirlwind that these angels in Ezekiel 1 and 4 came with. And with his chariots like a whirlwind. Go ahead. To render
his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire.
So we already know that the Messiah, when he comes back, he's bringing the wrath of the Messiah, the Most High. But when he comes back, it's going to be like chariots, like a whirlwind. Okay? And he's going to come with fire. So that same lightning come with fire. Let's find out what this whirlwind and these chariots are. Let's go to Zechariah 5 and 1. So we're just hitting precepts to kind of compare what it's going to be and what it's going to look like. And it ties into the lying signs and wonders that America has taught you and I. All right. Zechariah chapter 5 verse 1. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Zechariah, chapter 5 verse 1, and it reads, "Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold a flying roll." Verse 2. "And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits."
So it says, "Then I turned and lifted up my eyes, and behold, a flying roll." It says the flying roll, and the length was 20 cubits, so 20 feet long, and then 10 cubits wide. All right. So what is it speaking of? It's speaking of a UFO. This is what they taught you through America, through the lying, deceit that UFOs are false. And they made all these different shows about UFOs and made mockeries about UFOs. Independence Day, be scared. If you see a UFO, run. See? So they got the new Independence Day just to refresh in your brain. If you see, and then the Independence Day was what happened when the UFO, when it came, what happened? It was like in dark and cloud, it was all lightning, and people was all scary, and then when the lightning stuff finally stopped, it was like, what is it? And it was, you know what I'm saying? So they know the truth. They know when the Messiah comes back, he's coming in a whirlwind, a chariot flying roll. That's what the Messiah is coming back in. Him and his angels will be in these flying rolls, these whirlwind chariots. And it's going to be lightning everywhere when they come with a big cloud. And when the cloud opens up, they're going to be in these chariots ready to fight. That's why they are getting so ready up there with technology so they can try to fight back. That's why they're starting to build flying cars and stuff. Just because you and I don't see them, they already got them. They already got their flying cars with guns on them and weapons. Look it up. 2 Kings 2:10. So Zechariah 5:1 is breaking down a UFO. That's how the Messiah will return. But like I say, through the lying, deceit, and the signs and wonders of Satan, they have taught you to run if you ever see something like that, because it's an alien. It's going to be our help. Second Kings 2:10. Go ahead. It's funny, huh? Go ahead.
We're in the book of 2 Kings, chapter 2, verse 10, and it reads, "And he said, Thou hast asked a hard thing. Nevertheless, if thou see me when I am taken from thee, it shall be so unto thee. But if not, it shall not be so." Verse 11. "And it came to pass as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder, and Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven."
So we all know Elijah didn't see death. All right? And when he didn't see 2 Kings 2:10, so we all know Elijah didn't see death. And when he didn't see death, when he went straight to heaven, the same whirlwind coming out of a chariot of fire, the same whirlwind came down and got him and took him to heaven. All right? So the same whirlwind that came and got Elijah is the same whirlwind that's going to bring the Messiah back. Acts 1:9. Acts 1:9. So don't be deceived with these lies. Like I've always told y'all, think the opposite of what America teaches. If they teach you that something is false, that means it's real. If they teach you that something is real, that means it's false. All right? Acts 1:9. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Acts, chapter 1, verse 9, and it reads, "And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight."
So it's talking about the Messiah. The Messiah was sitting here talking to some gentlemen. And when the Messiah was sitting here talking to these gentlemen, it says, and when he has spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up. So the same type of cloud received the Messiah out of these men's sight. Go ahead, verse 10.
Verse 10. "And while they looked steadfastly toward heaven as he went up, behold, two men stood by them in white apparel." Verse 11. "Which also said, Ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven? The same Messiah, which is taken up from you into heaven, shall come in like manner as ye have seen him go into heaven."
So it tells you right here in verse 9 that the Messiah was talking to these guys, and then he was taken up in a cloud received out of their sight. And they sitting there looking, gazing into the sky like, what just happened? And a guy came and says, hey, the way the Messiah just left y'all is the same way he's coming back. So when the Messiah comes back, he's going to come back in that same chariot, whirlwind, UFO type of thing. All right? So don't be deceived through what America has taught you about UFOs. And don't be deceived when they start bringing all these holographic figures saying that's the Messiah, don't be deceived, because the Messiah just ain't gonna all of a sudden just appear in the sky and be walking and coming down to heaven like they gonna show you, or they gonna put him somewhere far in the desert, that holographic figure of the Messiah coming, and people are like, he's here. No, it tells you when he comes, there's gonna be a big lightning from the east to the west that's gonna be so bright everybody's gonna see it, and it's gonna be a cloud to where it's gonna open up, and there's gonna be a chariot, which is a UFO, which he's be coming back in. All right, we won't get to the rest of the lesson, but I want to read this half of this article real quick. Go to Google. Go to Google and put in UFO. Google UFO and the coming of Antichrist. Go to Google and put in UFO and the coming of Antichrist. And it should say UFO, aliens, and Antichrist. Go to Google.
I can't. I will, though, you know.
Put in UFO and the coming of Antichrist. Y'all got that? Here you go, brother. All right, go ahead and read that. What happened? That was amazingly quick.
It says, Watcher website first began distributing pamphlets on the UFO phenomena and ranting on Unscented and Prodigy back in 1991, putting up web pages using quotes from Streibert's Communion, I.D.E. Thomas, The Omega Conspiracy, Satan's Last Assault on God's Kingdom.
So it tells you this is one of Satan's last assault on the Most High's people, is with this phenom of lying about aliens and UFOs. Go ahead.
And the present book that sparked our research, G.H. Pember's Earth's Earliest Ages and their connection with modern spiritualism and theosophy.
So they tell you this is today's spiritualism. All right, what we're kind of reading right here. This is how they've gotten people through the spirit of these lies, through this alien world and these UFOs. Go ahead.
It says, we had no idea that so much information would be available via internet, nor could we have foreseen how popular the topic of UFOs and the Bible or angels versus aliens would become.
So instead of them teaching that the angels, what we just read in Ezekiel 1, comes in UFOs, they made it to where the UFOs is aliens. So he says we didn't realize how popular this has become. Instead of telling the truth, they brought in this deception. Go ahead.
David Flynn and the rest of us here at Watcher website picked through our Strong's Concordance.
Huh? So these are people that know there was something, huh? Go ahead.
And studied passages like Genesis 6 in the Interlinear Bible way back in the day, long before Chuck Missler's and Dr. Mark Eastman published Alien Encounters, a book which we recommend for those looking for a starting point when first delving into these topics.
So he says, hey man, before they even came out with all these alien encounters and all this nonsense, we already had broke down the strong concordance, so we wasn't fooled. Go ahead.
Watcher website has always been obsessed with the end of age, the book of Revelation, or St. John's Apocalypse, the coming of Antichrist and his global religion.
So at the end, when they come through with this Antichrist, it's this one world religion that they're trying to bring through this deception. See, they already have all these different religions, but they know when the Messiah comes, he's going to bring everybody into one. No more this, that. So, but before he comes with Antichrist, they're going to try to do it themselves. Y'all see what's happening? Mm-hmm. We already read a couple weeks ago in the scriptures that the Messiah, when he comes, he's going to get rid of all that separation and bring everybody to one. But with their Antichrist that comes first, they're going to try to make it happen with that under one global religion, and it ain't going to be the right thing. Go ahead.
And how he would fool everyone. After all, our generation grew up on the Omen. We heard how we weren't supposed to play our Led Zeppelin albums backwards because of the satanic messages. We have been on the lookout for 666. Who in our cynical age would ever worship a political leader? Unless he had some supernatural powers that went beyond mere magic. The only way we could foresee the whole world coming together and agreeing that one ruler should take over political, economic, and spiritual control of the earth would have been if there was a system, a paradigm set up to welcome Antichrist with open arms. That system, we conclude, was the Star Trek / Star Wars paradigm. A galactic brotherhood of aliens who will appear to Earthlings and claim to be the gods and angels that were written about in the ancient texts of all the world's religions.
So I'm glad that came up. This is why Star Wars is the biggest thing.
It's almost $1 billion already.
Man, Star Wars, it's not only the biggest thing now, but it's always the biggest thing. When they come out, it's huge. And what is it? Fighting in the skies.
Space.
In space. So, you know, they base a lot of what they think is going to happen they know it's going to be a war up there in space. And that's why Star Wars is so big, you guys. You just got to put the pieces together. All right? And why it is the biggest and the hottest thing out right now. Go ahead. And then just like this last Star Wars that came out, what is it, Jedi? I don't even know. He's black.
The main character.
The main character. Is he the Jedi?
No, he's not a Jedi.
What is it? I don't know Star Wars. What is he considered in the movie?
He's not the Jedi. There's actually a girl who's the Jedi.
What does this do?
The guy is just the guy that helps him. He'll probably end up being a Jedi, but he's not the Jedi.
So he's the savior in the movie, basically.
No, she is.
All right. But still,
an extra character.
But still, though, you guys, through the movie, they're showing you different pieces and signs on how they think it's going to be. All right, go ahead.
And claim to be gods and angels that were written about in the ancient texts of the world religions. Even Bible-believing Christians would have to reevaluate their beliefs. If Eric von Daniken's Chariots of Gods and the more credible scientific research of Richard C. Hageman's Monuments of Mars turned out to be valid, more and more UFO paranormal themes research TV shows are popping up all over cable these days. Networks like History, H2, and even Nat Geo are all a part of basic Comcast deals and have been showing credible research programs. The end time scenario of a global apocalyptic threat like World War III or a possible asteroid collision would make people likely to give up their petty fighting over primitive religious beliefs when confronted with the salvation of the planet via a political leader who worked hand in hand with the aliens. Watcher concludes that aliens, seemingly from another planet, would be the only thing that could unite Earthlings under one ruler, the Antichrist.
Go ahead.
There is a biblical precedent for linking UFOs and aliens with the coming of Antichrist and end-time prophecies. Watcher discusses this throughout the website. This article was first written 1991 to address the increasingly significant spiritual aspect of UFOs and ramifications of alien intelligence with the respect to religion, especially as described in the Bible end-time prophecies.
So the Pope, I know, back this past summer, he did a speech saying something about the aliens were on their way. You know, so these guys are relaying and comparing aliens to this global religion that they're trying to bring in through Antichrist. All right, instead of telling the people the truth that, hey, when you see a UFO or something to that nature, hey, this is these angels. This is the Messiah on his way back. And they're not going to teach us that. They're going to teach you that it's the aliens are coming, and they're coming to unite globally with the global religion. And that's just false. So now if they're deceiving people on what's really going to happen, then people ain't getting themselves together. People won't be ready. All right? So we'll close it there. That's why I like to give you guys information a lot of times so you can just kind of have a visual on how it's going to happen and what it's going to look like. All right? That's why I wanted to kind of give you the information tonight on just even the UFOs. Like, that's a lie, you guys, on how they've scared us and made you just fear of something to that nature when, you know what, you should be looking towards and looking for that lightning to come out of the sky and that chariot to come through. Okay? So on Wednesday, I'll give the rest of the precepts at the beginning just to go through them. But we'll conclude the lesson right there and we'll say Shabbat Shalom and all praises to the Most High.
Laila Tuah.